I wake up in my narrow cot, the dormitory window weeping November drizzle against the pane like a Victorian orphan begging for a farthing. I am 20, but my bones feel 200. I whisper to the cracked ceiling. Today, University of Worcester, Worcester, you shall finish what you began me slow public disintegration. I do not stretch. Stretching is for people who still believe tomorrow is a place. Instead, I count the mold blooms above my head on 2, 3 each the exact color of the lecturer who never arrived. They look like bruises on stale bread. That is the first cruelty, absence that still takes up space. I pull on the same gray hoodie I wore the day I arrived, its cuffs now frayed into tiny nooses. The corridor smells of burnt toast and forgotten fire drills. Downstairs, the canteen praised by the lone 3-star heretic offers me a sausage that sighs when stabbed. It exudes a pinkish fluid hotter than blood but somehow already congealed. The texture is rubbery surrender. The taste is salt, and the memory of every lie my father told about investing in my future. I chew 32 times because I read somewhere that proper mastication prevents depression. It does not. The fork tines are bent as if someone tried to tunnel out of the meal. I understand them. I pay with my last coin. The cashier's fingernails are edged black, like miniature chalkboards screeching hygiene warnings. She does not meet my eyes. She is too busy practicing the art of not being paid enough to care. I ask for a receipt, soft-voiced. Polite me Soviet grandmother taught me manners are the only velvet we peasants own. The printer jams, whines, births a curl of paper torn right across the vat. That missing millimeter feels personal, as though even the machine refuses to validate my existence. I pocket the scrap anyway, proof that I was here, that I tried. Outside, the car park greets me with its little blue sign. 30p minimum stay. I only have my cardmummy's emergency credit, the one she swore was for real crises. I tap. The machine swallows 3 entire pounds instead of 30 pence. 3 whole pounds. That is 10 times the promised ransom. My throat tastes of copper. I press cancel. The screen blinks transaction complete. No ticket spits out. I am too small to fight a robot, so I photograph the screen, but the auto flash reflects off the plastic and erases the evidence like a KGB sensor. I feel my pulse in my gums. This is how theft dresses when it wears neon. Visitor tax, they call it, a euphemism for because we can. I imagine the vice-chancellor swirling that surplus in a brandy snifter while students skip dinner. My stomach, already insulted by the sausage, contracts into a fist. I whisper to the machine, "You are why we can have nice things, comrade." It does not argue, villains rarely do. I trudge to the humanities block, shoes squelching moral injury. The lecture hall door yawns open to reveal 30 empty seats and one solitary tutor, except he is not there either. His absence is so absolute the whiteboard still bears last week's doodle, a phallus and the word syllabus in ironic quotation marks. I sit anyway, place my phone on airplane mode so it can escape. 15 minutes in, the door creaks. A cleaner peers in, mutters "Oh, not again," and retreats. That is the second cruelty, being forgotten by someone paid to remember mess. I open my email because hope is a disease. Subject lines. Reminder, placement allocation, past deadline, important. Module handbook now obsolete and the classic no reply. I scroll until my thumb aches. No answer to the message I sent 3 weeks ago begging for mental health support. I had used the word drowning because metaphors feel safer than diagnostics. The
businesses near the University of Worcester share a common story. They often feel a little tired, a little pricey, and they seem to forget that visitors are hoping for a friendly welcome. This impression comes from many voices that speak of broken lifts, empty shops, rude staff, and prices that make a wallet wince. It is as if the whole area is trying to be something it is not, and the mismatches become easy to see. Take the shopping center that sits on the main road. It once buzzed with shoppers, but now many of the stores sit dark. The lifts work only half the time, and the parking lot feels like a maze of uneven ground. The security team sometimes answers a question with a harsh word, and the whole place feels more like a ghost town than a lively market. Even the few remaining food chains cannot hide the feeling that the atmosphere has lost its sparkle. The beauty and wellness salon called Two Moda tries to look elegant, yet many customers leave feeling like they have been taken for a ride. Couples have been split up during a massage because the system did not recognize their booking, and stylists often leave clients with haircuts that look more like accidents than art. Prices are high, and on several occasions appointments have been canceled at the last minute, leaving out-of-town guests scrambling for a replacement. The overall picture is a place that promises glamour but often delivers disappointment. Cafe on Wayland's Yard tries to be a cozy brunch spot, but the reality is a string of long waits, cold coffee and food that arrives in the wrong form. Customers describe waiting far longer than promised, receiving dishes that are cold or overcooked, and dealing with staff who seem more interested in their phones than the guests. One visitor even saw a cleaning bottle used for both the restroom and the food area, a detail that makes anyone wonder about the hygiene standards. The vibe is more rush hour than relaxed breakfast. The nightclub known as Tramps aims to be the night's hotspot, yet it feels more like a place where the door is guarded by impatience and the drinks taste like they have been mixed in a hurry. Patrons talk about high entry fees, overpriced drinks that taste odd, and a dance floor that is sticky and noisy. Security sometimes turns people away without clear reason, and the music seems chosen for a very narrow crowd. The overall feeling is that a night out here can quickly become a cheap, uncomfortable experience. The restaurant called Dead Horse Hill tries to serve great meals, but many diners feel the opposite. Menu prices are steep and hidden.
I was looking into crimes near University of Worcester, you know, like what happens when tourists come for just 2 weeks and never come back. The shops near University of Worcester are like. They ray like wolves in sheep-esque clothing, pretty on the outside but waiting to bite your wallet. Businesses near University of Worcester are like those friends who smile while stealing your lunch money. This one shop, probably one of those cute little souvenir places you tourists love, had a clerk who took forever with credit cards. Like suspiciously forever. You hand over your card to buy that Worcester keychain or whatever, and suddenly the clerk disappears with it to process the payment. But really, they ray probably in the back copying all your numbers with one of those tiny skimming machines. The victim probably didn't even notice until they got home to America or wherever, then boom, someone else buying expensive stuff with their card in another country. The bank probably froze everything, ruined their whole vacation mood. And that clerk, probably still working there, still smiling at the next tourist. Businesses near University of Worcester are like that. They see you with your camera and your I am on holiday energy and their eyes turn into dollar signs. Another place may be one of those restaurants students go to. They were overcharging tourists like crazy. The menu says 8 for fish and chips, but when you pay suddenly it's 15. Oh, that's the tourist price, they probably say with a straight face. The tourist probably argued for like 2 minutes then just paid because they ray embarrassed and want to leave. They probably told themselves it's just money, but then couldn't afford the museum tickets later. The restaurant owner probably counted that extra money while laughing about stupid tourists that night. Businesses near University of Worcester are like this. They know you ray leaving soon, so they don't care if they cheat you. There was this check fraud thing at local shops. Someone was passing fake checks, like really good fakes that looked real. The shops accepted them, gave away real products and real change, then later the bank like sorry, this check is fake, and the shop loses everything. But you know what? They probably made up for it by charging tourists even more for everything else. So really, when that tourist pays 20 for a 10 souvenir, they ray probably paying for someone else's fake check mistake. The circle of cheating continues, you know. News 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 you know.